Hello, dear students. How are you? I hope you all are fine. I am Harish Prajapati here. Due to some personal reasons, your science teacher Prashant sir is not available now. So, as of now, I am going to deal with our chapter number 10, that is respiration in organisms. So, whenever we heard the word respiration, the thing come in mind is the breathing. We know that we breathe in oxygen and breathe out carbon dioxide. Yes or no? We all know it. And it is related to, somehow it is related to respiration, that we all know. But actually, respiration is much more than just a breathing. It is not just a process of taking in oxygen and breathing out the carbon dioxide. And that is what we are going to deal in this lesson. We are going to study the whole respiration process in this lesson. So after the end of this lesson, we will know that the respiration does not only mean breathing. Breathing is only just some part of respiration. Okay, so let us quickly go through some points that we are going to study in this lesson. So first of all, we will see why do we need to do respiration process, or why do we need to respire. Okay, that is what we are going to see. Next one will be aerobic and anaerobic respiration. Okay, there are two types of respiration. First is aerobic respiration. So from the word only aerobic, it contains the word air. Air is, so oxygen is related to air. So from the word aerobic and anaerobic, we can understand that oxygen will be related with aerobic respiration and oxygen will not be required in anaerobic respiration. Okay, the this both respiration we are going to study in the lesson. Next is breathing. So as we have discussed, breathing means taking in oxygen, or in fact air. We are not taking in just oxygen, we are breathing the air, and oxygen is one part of that air. Okay, so that is what breathing is. So we are going to study breathing in, breathing out, oxygen, carbon dioxide. Okay, next is mechanism of breathing in human. So the organs which are related to our respiratory system, breathing system, the whole process we are going to study, that these are the organs, and this is how, this is the cycle of the respiratory system or breathing system of human. Then we will see breathing of some other animals and insects like cockroaches, earthworms, and some underwater animals. And at the last, we will see respiration in plants. So let us start the lesson. I hope you will enjoy it. I hope you regularly watch the video of the YouTube channel that are shared. So now we are going to deal with the chapter from the textbook. So at the starting of the chapter, one incident is given. Okay, look, our all's favorite character, Mr. Bujo. Okay, Mr. Bujo, what happened? Once he was going to receive his grandmother. Okay, and he was too excited to meet her grandmother. So he reached the bus station or railway station by running. Okay, by running very fast. So at the end, when he reached to her grandmother, when he met her grandmother, he was breathing very rapidly. Okay, because and even you might have experienced, whenever we are running, whenever we are exercising, okay, whenever even we are jogging, we breathe very rapidly. Okay, and one question should be arise, whenever we are performing this kind of task, why do we breathe very rapidly? Okay, why is it needed to breathe so rapidly? That is one question, and that should arise in our mind. So by learning this chapter, we should be able to give the answer of that question. Okay, so let us first understand, it is related to respiration. That is why this kind of incident is explained over here. Okay, so let us first learn about respiration. Okay, so look here, here first topic is why do we respire, or why the respiration is required. Okay, so look here in chapter 2 you learnt that all organisms are made of small microscopic units called cells. Okay, so we have learned about cells. We know that cells are the smallest structural and functional unit of organism. Okay, so there are so many cells in our body, and all these cells, by all this cell our body is made structured. Okay, our body is built up all these cells, that is why it is structural, and as well as it is functional unit. Okay, all the functional, the smallest unit that carry out all the function in our body is a cell. Okay, so that is why it is structural as well as functional unit of organism. Okay, now whenever we are going to perform any task, okay, we need to do some work. Whenever we are doing any work, okay, we need to have some energy. Okay, because without energy we cannot do anything. Do you think without energy we can do anything? No. Even machines, if there is a machine, let us talk about a pen. If there is a pen, the fan will only rotate when we give the electricity to it. Okay, that means we are giving it energy, then and then it is doing some work. Okay, so everything requires some energy to perform any work. Okay, without energy anything cannot perform any work. So just like them, our body also requires some energy to do some work. And do you know from where do we get this energy? Yes, of course, from food. We take food only for that purpose. We eat food and the food will release some energy. But as we have explained earlier, even in 6th standard, that the food is only not sufficient. Okay, we need water as well as oxygen, because the oxygen will help to release the energy from that food. Without oxygen the energy cannot be released from that food. Okay, and actually that process, the release of energy from that food, is called respiration. Okay, and for that we require some oxygen, and that is why breathing is important, that we have explained in standard 6 also. Okay, I am just recalling it. Okay, so let us come to the content once again. Okay, each cell of an organism performs certain functions such as nutrition, then transport, excretion, and reproduction. So every cell performs this uh, functions. Yes or no? Nutrition means growth of them. Then transport, we know that transport of water, transport of food, that happens in our body. Excretion, that we have studied. And reproduction, you just might have studied about reproduction. Okay, giving birth to young ones is actually known as reproduction, but here we are talking about reproduction in cells. Okay, next is, to perform this function the cell needs energy. So as we have know, everything require energy. Even when we are eating, sleeping, reading, we require energy. Whatever we are doing, energy is must. But where does this energy come from? Okay, we all know that energy come from our food. Okay, food has stored energy, and that which released during this respiration. Okay, this respiration is required to release this energy from food. Okay, that we have studied, and that is why our parents also call us that we have to take a good food, healthy food. Okay, next, therefore all living organisms respire to get energy from food. Okay, because by respiration only energy can be released. During breathing we breathe in air. You know that air contains oxygen. Okay, so as we have discussed, the oxygen is required, okay, to release energy from food. Without oxygen it cannot be released. Now from where do we get that oxygen? Only from the air. Air contains oxygen, so that is why by our nose or nostril we breathe in air, and in that air the oxygen will be there, and that oxygen will be utilized by our body to release the energy from food, and that energy we will utilize to do all kind of work. Okay, so I hope you are getting it. Okay, we breathe out air which is rich in carbon dioxide, and carbon dioxide will be produced. There is one chemical reaction, and you can see here you can see that carbon dioxide will be produced. Okay, we have seen this kind of chemical processes earlier in 6th standard also, if you remember it. Okay, chemical processes have we seen or not? Yes, chemical equations. I hope you are getting it. Okay, so carbon dioxide will be produced from it. Okay, so we just use oxygen and we produce carbon dioxide. Okay, and plants do opposite to it. That also we have studied in earlier standards. Okay, the air we breathe in the air we breathe in is transported to all parts of our body and ultimately to each cell. In the cells, oxygen in the air helps in breakdown of food. The process of breakdown of food in cell with the release of energy is called cellular respiration. Okay, the process of cellular respiration you can see here on the screen. Also, cellular respiration takes place in the cells of all organisms. Okay, so I hope you are getting it. First of all, we breathe in the air, and that oxygen will be we can say transported to all the cell of our body, and in that cell the respiration process will take place, by which the energy will be released from food by the use of oxygen, and carbon dioxide will be generated there, and that carbon dioxide will be transported and it will be released by our nose to the atmosphere. Okay, that is the whole process. I hope you got it. Okay, in the cell the food is broken down into carbon dioxide and water using oxygen. Okay, so there was food, okay, plus there was oxygen, and by use of it we have created some water and carbon dioxide. Okay, plus some energy is released from it. Okay, and that energy is useful to just to gain this energy, all this work is done. Okay, so here also you can see it in chemical process. Okay, look here, glucose with the use of oxygen, and it will generate carbon dioxide and water and energy. Okay, so here you can see that it is called aerobic respiration. Why is it called aerobic respiration? Because oxygen is used there. Okay, we know that it can only be possible with the use of oxygen. That is why it is known as aerobic respiration. Okay, if it was possible without use of an oxygen, then it would be called anaerobic respiration. There are some let us say organisms which perform this kind of anaerobic respiration too. They do not require oxygen for it. Hope you are getting it. Okay, so let us see it. You should know that there are some organisms such as yeast. Yeast is one of them. It can survive without oxygen or absence of air. Okay, because it perform anaerobic respiration. It do not require oxygen for release of energy. So what will it do? The energy, how will it be gained? The energy will be gained from glucose. The glucose means glucose is nothing but a simplest form of food. Okay, the food will be converted into glucose, and that glucose will break down to make alcohol and carbon dioxide. Okay, from that glucose, alcohol and carbon dioxide will be made and energy will be released. Okay, while in human, or we can say in aerobic respiration, carbon dioxide and water were made. Here alcohol and carbon dioxide is made. Okay, and energy is being released. Okay, so it is called anaerobic respiration. Okay, look here, something more is given about yeast. Yeast are single celled organisms. Okay, they are not multi-celled organisms like us. They are single celled organisms. Only one cell is there. They respire anaerobically. Okay, so what will they produce? We have seen that they will produce alcohol. Okay, and that is why they are used to make wine and beer. Yeast are used there. Okay, now look here, In human also there is a kind of anaerobic respiration possible. Look here, it is given our muscle cells, okay, can respire anaerobically. Okay, our muscle cells, the cells present in our muscles, okay, so it is even possible in human. Okay, surprised? Yes, our human cells or the cells of muscle can respire anaerobically, but it is only for a short time. Okay, it is not possible for very long time, only for short time. Whenever there is temporary deficiency of oxygen, deficiency means sufficient oxygen is not available. Okay, there is lack of oxygen, then and then this kind of anaerobic respiration will possible in our body. For example, like whenever we are doing heavy exercise or we are doing cycling, walking, fast running, then what happen, our body require so much of energy. Yes or no? Whenever we are doing exercise, we are burning some, we are requiring more energy. Okay, and to have more energy means we require more food to burn, and to have more food to burn we require more oxygen. Okay, but our body, in our body limited amount of oxygen was present. Okay, and that is why anaerobic respiration comes into place here. Okay, look here, but the supply of oxygen to produce the energy is limited. Okay, and that is why the deficiency of oxygen occur in our body. Okay, and at that time the muscle cells will fulfill the demand of that energy by doing this anaerobic respiration. Okay, so at that time the glucose of the muscle in the absence of oxygen will generate lactic acid and energy. So this energy will utilized by our body, but this lactic acid will be generated. Okay, now that lactic acid will produce some other effect, that is what, let us see. Have you ever wondered why you get muscle cramps after heavy exercise? Muscle cramps, you might have heard about these muscle cramps. Okay, these are nothing but due to the production of this lactic acid. Okay, this lactic acid is produced and that is why muscle cramps occur. The cramps occur when muscle cells respire anaerobically, and when do they do it? Whenever we are doing heavy exercise. Okay, the partial breakdown of glucose produces lactic acid, and another thing important is partial breakdown. Okay, in the aerobic respiration it was full breakdown of glucose, while in anaerobic respiration there is just a partial breakdown. Okay, not full breakdown. Okay, and that will produce lactic acid. Okay, and that lactic acid will be responsible for muscle cramp. Okay, that lactic acid will be accumulated there, and that will be responsible for our muscle cramp. Okay, now how do we get relief from that muscle cramp? Yes, by using hot water. Okay, if there is a muscle cramp somewhere, then we use hot water, we apply hot water there, or massage. Okay, now what do the hot water do? The hot water will improve the blood circulation, and that muscle will be improved by hot water, and due to the improve in that blood circulation, supply of oxygen will also increase. Okay, supply of oxygen will also increase because it is done by blood. Okay, we know it. So due to the increase of that supply of oxygen, now there will, the complete breakdown of the lactic acid will be occur. Okay, the lactic acid that was accumulated there, it will break down, okay, into carbon dioxide and water. So lactic acid is now gone. So that is why the air cramp we will get relief from it. Okay, I hope you got it.